Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about ticker symbol CTRM. The stock is trading at $1.01. I'll be talking about precisely three things in this video. The first one is potential earning date as to when CTRM will be reporting their financial results for Q4 and the year 2020. So watch the full video to learn more about it. We'll do a very high level technical analysis about the stock price, about the volume, and how the stock was traded today. And the third thing is how a stock regains NASDAQ compliance. Remember that Castor Maritime is right now at the risk of getting delisted from NASDAQ. They have an extension for 180 days. We haven't heard officially that they regained the NASDAQ compliance. So we'll review how it works sort of in general and what we can expect in upcoming days for Castor Maritime. Now, looking at the stock price, the stock traded pretty narrow, but it was pretty strong considering how the market was in red all day today. The NASDAQ was down by 3.52%. S&P was down negative 2.45%, and Dow Jones was down by negative 1.75%, but the Castor Maritime stock did not go below $1 level. Now, their earning date is expected to be on March 3rd, 2021. This is not a confirmed or a firm earning date. I searched CTRM Castor Maritime's website, could not really find a firm date listed there either, but this is the date. Upcoming earning date is derived from an algorithm based on a company's historical reporting dates. I'll keep you posted as soon as Castor Maritime announces their earning date. This is on the NASDAQ website that I found and I wanted to share with you. This could be one of the catalysts because in the past the company has potentially raised their revenue. If you take a look at Q1 versus Q2, so in Q1 the revenue was Q1 2020, the revenue was 2.73 million. In Q2, it dipped because of some of the effect due to the CV situation that is going on. The revenue was 2.59 million, but in Q3, they got back up to 2.79 million. The cash is not really a problem. The company has enough cash on hand. They have been raising capital. They have been buying vessels that could help the revenue in Q2 and beyond. We are not expecting a huge bump as to what they have bought in Q1 2021 just yet. So something to watch when they announce their revenue and earning for Q4 and also for 2020 as the financial year. Now, looking at the stock price right here, the volume. Today's volume was 91 million, which was lower than the average volume of 175 million. The stock price was pretty narrow. The one-day price was $1, which is right on the mark as to where they need to be closed, and the day range was high, was all the way up to $1.10, but the stock pretty much traded between $1 and let's take a look right here. The stock pretty much traded between $1.04 and $1.05 in the beginning, and then at around the closing time the stock was trading around $1.01 and $1.02. So that's pretty important to note that it did not really go below $1 level, which is a pretty healthy sign for CTRM, especially when they're trying to regain the compliance for NASDAQ. The volume was down, as you can see right here. The volume was 91 million versus the volume yesterday of 125 million. If you take a look at this stocks chart, it is right here, and their RSI looks pretty balanced and pretty healthy. It closed at the RSI of 52, so it suggests not really overbought, not really oversold condition. It may help to run up the stock tomorrow. Once again, it depends upon the overall market condition. It was a huge sell-off all day long. There were concerns around the bond and yield rates. So we'll see how the market reacts tomorrow. But CTRM is not the only stock that went down. Most of the stocks were in red today, so CTRM is not an exception, as you can see right here. Now the RSI looks pretty healthy. As you can see, there were not a lot of spike. If you take a look right here, the stock spiked up to $1.10 in the beginning of the trading session. It started trading around $1. $1.04, $1.05, and it had some resistance at $1.01 and $1 level. It did not really go below $1 level all day long. It tried to go back up once again to $1.04 and 5 cents level, but it did not sustain and it went back, and market was down during the end, around the end of the trading session today as well. Looking at the 5-day chart, if you take a look, the RSI looks pretty similar and pretty healthy, 47 RSI, but there was a big drop that we noticed even though the volume was high. If you take a look at the red bar right here, the stock dropped once from $1.21 to all the way to 86 cents when there was a drop once again for the whole market, not just for CTRM. But the stock got back up pretty quickly and it went to all the way $1.09. So let's take a look at a little bit more in terms of the stock price. If you take a look, the stock had staircase and it went from $1.66 level to $1.50 level, which is when it started getting a little bit of a support around $1.30, but it did not sustain, and it went to $1.19 level, which is when the stock had some support. If you take a look on 18th, 19th, 22nd, and 23, all this trading session, it had a pretty good support around $1.10-15, and it did not really go below this range, $1.20. But then it had a pretty big drop when the whole market was down, went to 86 cents, got back up. Right now the support looks like around $1 level. We'll see how the stock reacts tomorrow if the volume goes up. In general, for CTRM, when the volume goes up, the stock performs pretty good in terms of the price range and it goes up. Except just right here, a big drop. There's a big spike right here when the volume spiked up. If you see the green line, and the stock went from $1.18 level to $1.86 level, but at that time the market situation was totally different. The NASDAQ was not really in so high red all day long. We'll see how that works out tomorrow. Now, looking at the third thing about how the NASDAQ compliance works. So basically, what is NASDAQ's compliance process for the company that fails to meet $1 minimum bid price requirement? If a company trades below $1 level for 30 consecutive days, at below the $1 level minimum closing price requirement, NASDAQ will send a deficiency notice to the company advising that it has been afforded for a compliance period of 180 calendar day to regain the NASDAQ's compliance requirement. Now for CTRM, if you take a look, their date is June 28, 2021. However, the stock is right around the corner to get the compliance. It has passed already 10 days, and we'll talk a little bit more about how the 10-day situation works. Under circumstances, to ensure that the company can sustain long-term compliance, NASDAQ may require the closing bid price to equal or exceed of $1 minimum bid price requirement for more than 10 consecutive business days before determining that a company complies within the compliance of what NASDAQ has decided. It can be more than 10 days, and NASDAQ will consider, but it is not limited to the following factors. So the first thing is the margin of the compliance, amount by which the price is above $1 level. If you think about CTRM, it's right around $1 level. And if you take a look at the historical price right here for last 13 consecutive business days or trading days, it is about $1 level right here. But due to, once again, market condition, it did not really close above so the highest closing price was $1.73, but lately it was around $1.10, 11 cents, pretty close to $1. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Second thing is trading volume, a lack of trading volume, which is not really a case for CTRM, but trading volume is one of the factor. We look at the trading volume, that looks pretty healthy. Their average trading volume is 175 million. Their usual trading volume is very well above 85 million on a daily basis. So the volume is pretty healthy in my opinion. The market condition in general, example given, if only one of the 8 markets is quoting at above or the minimum bid price of $1 or only 100 shares or not. So that's one of the things that they consider, and the trend in the stock price, whether it is moving up or it is moving down. Now, it also requires for NASDAQ to consider a lot of other factors. As an example, the whole market is down right now, so it could be a natural move for Castor Maritime to go down, but at the same time, if it cannot sustain at $1 level, that could be a potential deficiency for a stock. So I wanted to share this information with you, how the NASDAQ regaining compliance process works. I hope this was helpful. We haven't gotten confirmation or an official confirmation from NASDAQ or from the company just yet that they met the NASDAQ's minimum bid requirement and regained the compliance. So we'll wait for next couple of days to see what happens there. I'll keep you posted. If they don't get it, it's not really end of the world. They have more time up until June 2021. So that should be okay as well. I hope this is pretty informative video for you. Click on the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.